guys in the dark.
This happened about 16 years ago. I was in summer camp for my Boy Scout troop. They both had boys and girls. One of the most important activities that we had during camp was what was called raid. It was going out of the camp to adventurously trek for a couple of days. My friends and I had an amazing route that went through a beautiful mountain range out here in the northeast of Spain. We had 3 days walking, 2 nights of sleeping out of the camp. My group consisted of 15 boys and girls, all between 12 and 14 years old. We had taken food with us. We knew how to read a map, how to build a shelter. We even knew how to search for water. Pretty much anything that we needed to survive for just a couple of days. No adults were coming with us. The first day, we were to climb the mountain. It was just under 3,000 meters, and sleep by a lake nearly on top of it. It was a very long walk from our camp. It was about 17 miles, and it was steep. So we decided that about 1800, we were not going to reach the lake at a proper time. We spotted a nice place to go and build a shelter. We did it, and then cooked us some dinner. We were in the middle of a beautiful mountain. It was about 8 miles from the nearest road. We really couldn't have been happier. We had 2 hours until sunset when we had finished our meal, so we thought that it was a good idea to send a smaller group to go clean dishes, fill up water by a spring that we had seen while we were walking. I volunteered, and 3 other friends to join. We got a couple of torches, just in case, headed towards the fountain. Nighttime had come while we were on our way back to the shelter. We could hear the rest of the group singing, having fun in the distance. Suddenly, one of my friends stopped, pointed at something just by the side of our trail. Something that wasn't there on our way down. I'm pretty sure it wasn't, one of my friends had said. There was a light reflecting pole from the road that was torn into pieces. We went from being happy and relaxed to being scared in just a few seconds. Rushed all the way to where the rest of the friends were. We told them about the creepy finding right away. Our fear had escalated very fast. Who would be hiding in the same mountain that we were? Why? 2 of the older guys that were about 14 years old decided it would be a good idea to go and take a look around, just to try and calm us down. Being without them was much scarier. We also appreciated it, though. They went away with a torch, a knife, and a whistle. We remained inside the shelter, which was nothing more than a couple of tarps held by sticks near a giant boulder. We were silent and scared. I remember hearing quite a lot of sobbing around me. I was thinking that I didn't want to die here. One of the girls suggested that we should try to sing, or think of something else to try to ease our fear. Some of them disapproved, because we might not hear the whistling, but we did anyways. Not very loud, though. We did that for about 30 minutes. The whistle had interrupted our singing. We heard it very clearly. 2 whistles coming towards us at a very fast pace. I remember taking my knife and keeping it in my hands. Luckily, it was our friends. They had arrived, very nervous and exhausted from running. They told us that they came across a long stick that was standing with lots of blood all over it, more than what our nerves could stand. Most of us had started crying. Some of us had prayed. They told us that they were going to look for whoever was in the mountain with us, confront them, just in case things go bad. We'll run somewhere else so that he can't find you, one had said. We asked them to stay. Nobody was able to move a finger to stop them from leaving the tent. There was no more singing, just crying, barely audible prayers. I didn't want to die there. I just wanted to go see my family. After a while, we had heard some noises, followed by the voices of our friends. They came back at a very calm pace. Relief was in their faces. It was all just a misunderstanding, one had told us. It's a park ranger. We found him. He was just walking around as part of his duty. The bloody stick happened to be from a rabbit that he had hunted for dinner. It was a relief, so we all relaxed. Someone spoke about taking our sleeping bags out and going to sleep. That sounded great to us. It wasn't very long before one of the older guys said that he was a bit suspicious of everything. He wasn't wearing a uniform, he said, nor a badge, or anything that would identify him as a park ranger. And who walks kilometers away from the closest road, late at night, to go hunt rabbits? Are there even rabbits in this forest? Terror had come back in just mere seconds. They were right. That story didn't make any sense to anybody. One of the older kids had said we should go kill him. We had asked him to stay with us. We got the same result. Once he was gone, someone said maybe they had followed them, and now they know where we are. Panic had grew over all of us. Nobody was paying the slightest attention to anybody else. Nobody had cried, and nobody was praying. I had one thought. I'd rather kill than get killed in this place. We sat there waiting, silent, and ready to fight for our lives. We all had our knives out and was ready, just in case. Some time had passed. We suddenly hear people running, approaching us. We heard screams of terror. It sounded like there were more than 2 people coming at us. I hadn't been more scared in my life. I hoped that I could say goodbye to my mom and my dad. My knife was ready to stab whoever had come close to me. We saw our 2 friends, running for their lives, being followed by 2 men. They came at the opening of the shelter, and then stopped. The 2 men chasing them did the exact same thing. We could see their faces. They were our camp leaders, who had followed us the entire time, but they were hiding. The 4 started laughing at us, asking if we were scared. It was just a joke, all the time. Everyone started crying suddenly. Some even had problems to gasp for proper breaths, due to the anxiety. We were not amused at all. After a few minutes, the funny 4 realized that they had done really bad. They took 14 children to the point of holding a knife and being willing to kill with it. We relaxed a lot, but our fear became anger. It had been a joke way out of proportion, or the most basic common sense. They spent a while telling us how sorry they were. We really didn't care. We wanted them to leave us alone. On the other hand, we're still too scared to sleep on our own. We accepted that they came to sleep with us. It took them months to regain our trust. That was the worst night of my life, no doubt. I've never had nightmares about it. I remember it like it was yesterday. Since I'm older now, I think what could have happened if 2 guys had been there to actually kill us. We were just children, true, but armed, and at the final moments, willing to kill anything. We could have chopped them into many pieces. I really cannot think of what the headlines would be. 2 murderers stabbed to death in the mountains by children. Autopsy reveals more than 300 lethal wounds in each one of the corpses. I had climbed Mount Fitzroy. That happens to be in Argentina. Everybody that I knew said that it was safe to do it by myself. The day started with beautiful weather. I could follow the signs, meet quite a few people on the road. Suddenly, the weather had changed. Everything went dark. I couldn't see my hand right in front of my eyes. I was lost. I decided to find my way back down to the village. The only thing I remembered was that I had crossed a little river. I walked towards the sound of water. I found it, but it had risen so much that you couldn't cross it. I knew that I had to try, though, so I looked for big stones to throw in, tried to hold myself as I had crossed. I almost lost my life. Thankfully, I only lost my watch and my backpack. I had reached the other side. I was completely wet and trembling. I still couldn't see anything. There was no path in front of me. I had been crying and shouting for help for almost an hour. Finally, in the distance, I could hear a voice. A Swiss couple had guided me back. Once I was safe, I heard an Argentine man and an American tourist were missing as well. Later, they had found their dead bodies.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell for notifications on future videos and become a stalker of the night. And I'll see you next time.